That's all right. Go on.
No, I was just going to say, ask me anything. I'm very open. I like talking about stuff. I don't want to hide things.
Good, man. Good. That's what we're all about. I don't edit these, so it's fine because I can't be
Yeah,
fucked.
right.
All right, guys. Welcome back to the 1% podcast. I'm going to keep that little intro in. So here's what it is. You're going to get a nice raw clip as always. But no, honestly, for this one, I'm really excited because I'm joined by Max himself. But I think the nice thing is that me and Max have kind of known each other for a while, and Max has recently gone through an incredible comp prep, and through that phase, I really saw him grow as an individual. Fuck the physique, fuck all that sort of stuff. Like I saw him really grow and come out his shell, and I'm excited to kind of dive into this podcast. So, welcome to the podcast. How are you doing, man?
Thank you. Very well. Very well. Thanks for having me. It's interesting you say that about coming out my shell because that is why I did it. Competing for me is obviously as a transformation coach, you want to lead from the front, you want to be lean, but I did it for that. I did it as to almost like give myself permission to be the person that I kind of want to be.
Yeah,
That was my reason behind going and like people don't understand and they think, oh yeah, bodybuilding prep, step on stage, pose in shorts. But as you know, and people that are in it, it's so much more than just like hitting some poses on stage with a group of guys. There's so much more that goes into it upstairs. And that's why I did it.
yeah, man, 100%. And we know that it's all about the upstairs. We know about
Yeah.
it. It's all about the mindset. We know that everyone can achieve this. It's like, but can you do it? Sort of thing.
Yeah.
So it's it. Don't worry, man, it's fine. We keep these podcasts raw. It's cool. Don't worry. Bombard through.
Come in.
This
Who
is
is it?
like
Come on.
it's
Come on
admin
in.
day. It's washing day. We're getting everything sorted, so it's fine. But no, man. For anyone that doesn't know you, just the I don't know if you get in a taxi and someone goes, "Hey, like, what do you do? Who is Max and what does he do?"
Story. So, I was a personal, I'm still a personal trainer, I guess, but I'm an online, I've moved my business online like many of us have. I came to Dubai 2.5 years ago. I actually came here with a company. I worked for a transformation gym called Ultimate Performance in the UK. I then transferred over to Dubai and kind of it was in the middle of COVID. And in that time, even when I was coming over here, I had this planned. I know it sounds probably gonna get sued for this, but I knew that for me to be where I wanted to be an online coach. I wanted to be financially stable. I wanted to be free with my time, which I've learned that that isn't the case because you get busier than ever. But I wanted to be in a place where I was surrounded by people doing the same thing. So even when I moved here 2.5 years ago, I knew that I would kind of go down this route. It was almost like my in. But yeah, I've been a coach. I did my course when I was 18. I've been obsessed with this stuff for years and years and years. But as I've kind of come through the years now, I'm becoming more and more obsessed with coaching people, learning about fat loss, learning about training, because as you probably know, we all love to train. But just because you love to train and you love to bodybuild doesn't mean that you love to train someone else. It doesn't mean you can get personally and emotionally invested in someone else's journey. That's why there's so many average trainers out there because they love training themselves and they love eating and stuff and they think they can just train people in a gym. But it has to come, it's a little bit deeper than that. You have to really get invested in other people's journeys.
Oh,
Similar to what you do, yeah, because you do it. And I feel like the people that truly get invested in their clients and like take the result personally are the coaches that are doing well.
you
And it's
have to,
clear
man. Like
they are.
we just watched the Notebook. It was like
Yeah,
a Netflix series, or like with, but they got some of the best coaches in the world, whatever they did, and pretty much like the moral of the story was like you don't need to teach LeBron James to play basketball. Do you know what I mean? You don't need to teach. You don't need to teach these best people in the world how to like. Again, you could look at like Ronnie Coleman or all this sort of stuff, and you could look at like who the people like. Obviously, this is a fitness podcast, like who Hani Rambod coaches and stuff like that. Like you don't
mm,
need to teach Chris Bum how to be the best classic guy, right? So like,
yeah,
what does a coach do to them? And it is just truly unlocking that mindset side of things.
Mm.
That's all it comes down to. It's like, well, why are you struggling with training? Why are you sabotaging yourself? Why can't you do this? Right? Get into those emotional, deep conversations with people. And don't be afraid to like fucking ask these questions and dig.
Yeah, and that was again one of the driving forces behind me going into that comp prep, because training for me comes very easily. I'm naturally quite lean. I've always been in shape. I've never been out of shape. So I didn't know what it was like to truly like suffer or truly be starving, or and then going down that route kind of taught me what it's like to really have to be disciplined, to really have to be on the ball at all times, not just can't just wing it like I've been able to do for so many years.
Yeah,
Then I even hired a coach as well. So I even was on the other side, saw what it's like to be bollocked by a coach, to have to be honest, to own up to mistakes. So it definitely made me a better coach and gave me a bit more empathy for the people that I train.
yeah, 100%, man. That's the thing, like you say, like too much of it now, especially the world that we live in, it's very much like it's very easy. But no, you're good. Your lighting is probably better than mine, so it's fine. But it's so easy. Like you just see it so much now on platforms. Like anyone can put online coach in their bio and shit like that, but who generally walks the walks, talks the talks every day? That's the biggest thing. Like, can you
Sure.
practice what you preach? Do you pummel yourself? Do you starve yourself? Do you force feed yourself when you have to? Like
Yeah.
all this sort of stuff. And actually, like, can you like the thing is like people can be very like we had this conversation the other day, like people can be very good at marketing, but like and get loads of work come in and things like that. But can you actually deliver the results and actually be a good human being behind the scenes?
Yeah, and that's the beauty of being. That's why I'm so happy in Dubai, because I feel like there are a lot of coaches here that if you get into the right circle and you're careful who you mix with, there are a good group of guys and girls who live behind that, who are good people who just want to help. But also, you have to be good at marketing, you have to be good at business as well.
Yeah. And then also in Dubai, you get the other end of it as well.
And then then there's a terrible end of it. Yeah, yeah,
But no,
for
amazing,
sure.
man. Like, I guess what I want to do is dive back a little bit. I always kind of go into the upbringing and things like that. So, what was, because I don't know any of this. So, what was high school, secondary school, max like? What was family life like and things like that?
Yeah, so I've been fairly. I'd say I've been fairly lucky. I was, growing up, my dad was into bodybuilding. So I remember I used to go downstairs at 6:30 in the morning with my dad to the garage and watch him train. And like, oh, so I loved it. And now I look back at it, he didn't have a clue what he was doing, poor guy. But he, because I've seen him train now. But I was kind of always kind of brought up around training. I played a lot of sport. I played football for years and years. I was quite good growing up, like going into school. I had some trials at a couple of clubs and stuff. But I was always tiny. I'm a small guy naturally. So I guess for me, like I started training probably like most people just to build a bit of confidence around that kind of 15, 16 age range where you want to, stand out a little bit more. You start being introduced to girls, you want to be a bit more muscular and things like that. And then I remember all of my friends, I grew up in Southwest London, we all used to train in the same place, which is where Harlequins Rugby Club, all the boys would train, and they were just massive, right? And we'd all go in there and just like bench press for hours and hours, everyone trying to put one plate on the bar and hit that 60-kilo bench. It was like the thing. And man, I swear, like everyone dropped off and I just never dropped off. I was just hooked. And I said to myself, this is kind of what I want to do. If I can find a way to make money and like support myself, because I already knew I didn't want to be a trainer in a gym, because I was always surrounded by it, and I ended up doing exactly that. So to kind of break it down, I ended up doing a personal training course at 18, right? And it comes down to, so I'll quickly run it back. So
That's good.
my dad and my brother are both commercial divers. So they both work offshore on oil rigs. So they wear the big Kirby Morgan 37, they dive underwater, and they've been doing it for years. And so am I, right? So when I was, I just wasn't really interested in school, and I was just being an idiot. And I remember my dad forced me to go into engineering. So I went to Richmond College.
Yeah.
I was doing engineering, and I remember sitting in the back of the class just thinking, what the fuck, what am I doing here? this is not for me. And after about 2 weeks, I remember I just backdoored it out, and I was like, right, I'm gone. I was like, I'll just deal with my parents another time, but I'm gone. I hate this.
Yeah.
And I went to this, I went to like reception in this college, and I was like, look, do you have any sort of sport courses, something like that? Because I can't stand this. And they were looking through the systems, looking at my grades and stuff, and they were like, no, we don't, we're sorry. And I literally said to them, I was like, is that it? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, cool. And I was walking out of Richmond College, and I was
Yeah.
like, right, I'll tell my parents, fuck it. I was walking out, and this lady was like, oh, you, come here, come here. This like Australian woman. She was like, I'll take you on my course. And I was like, what course
Sounds
is
like
that?
an
And she
Aussie.
was it was like a fitness instructor course, like basic stuff, level 2. And I was like, and they were like, no, she was called Karen. She was like, you don't have any space. She was like, we'll make space. We'll make space. Like, this boy's not going to walk out of this college right now. And man, I swear to God, she pulled strings and got me on this course. And it changed everything for me. This woman, it was, I swear, Brandon, it was fate. Yeah. It was the gods looking down on me. I was walking out of college 2 weeks in. She happened to be standing in that room and stopped me as I walked out, put me
Yeah.
on her course as a level 2, then wanted to do a level 3.
Damn.
And I still speak to her today. I still thank
No
her today.
way. That's sick.
Yeah. I sent her like a huge message. She lives in Australia now, and that was kind of it. And I ended up doing my course like everyone, getting a job in Pure Gym, right?
Yeah, man. That's where I started. That's the place.
Pure Gym. And I was 19 or whatever, probably weighed about 60 kilos. And I realized quite quickly, I was like, shit, this is not going to work for me. I don't know anything. I've just
Yeah.
passed the course. I don't know. I can't help anyone.
Yeah.
And I ended up going and doing a diving course. I spent 3 months in Scotland, and I ended up working offshore for 5 years.
Oh shit.
Right?
Okay.
Not many people know. So from 19 to 24, I was
Yeah.
working offshore in Kuwait, Saudi. I was in Germany, Norway, all these crazy places, and I was earning good
A lot.
money.
A lot. I bet. Yeah.
And I was miserable.
Yeah.
I was super miserable.
So
So
is
I
that
learned.
that's what your brother and dad did?
That's what my dad did. So again, like my dad was able to pull strings, get me on these jobs that I had no business being on. So I never really felt any like sense of achievement, or I was put on jobs because my dad was the boss and all of this. And I never got anything from it except for, and I remember at the time I had more money than all my friends. I was miserable.
Yeah.
And I learned quite a young age that you can't just work. You can't just work for money with something you're not passionate about.
Mm.
And I ended up going on these jobs in Saudi and things like that with the guys, and I'd get the welders to weld me dip bars and pull up bars onto the walls, and I'd end up training myself and training the guys. And
Yeah.
I ended up being like, I was a junior diver. It's called a
Yeah.
trainee diver, and I would dive first thing in the morning on the worst dive, the worst thing you can put me on, 4 hours in freezing cold water, hating my life, and then I'd come up and I'd end up training the guys, and that was kind of like my thing. And I
Yeah.
used to get on jobs because people would be like, yeah, we'll get Max on because it will get us in shape and stuff like that. And it was just like my life was just always, no matter where I went, it was always like pulling me back in this
Yeah.
direction.
Wow.
You
With
know?
those
So,
with those jobs, like how does it? I'm intrigued by that job. How does it work? What do you do? If that makes sense, like the diving.
so there's wind farms, there's oil and gas. But for example, one of the jobs in Saudi, so there was a huge tanker. It was called an OSI tanker. It would come alongside and it would collect oil,
Yeah.
millions and millions of dollars worth of oil. And every day we'd have to all go down and like check all the, like it was like 15 meters down underwater, check all the parts, clean everything, make sure everything's running smoothly. You're a glorified underwater construction worker. That's what I learned. And I hate that stuff.
Wow. Okay. Yeah.
And I realized, and you know, I might, and cut a long story short, when I was about 24, you know, my dad had put so much work and effort into like pulling strings for me, and I was just like, I'm fucking out. I hate it.
Yeah.
And I was like, how am I gonna? And at the time, I was obsessed with YouTubers. I was obsessed with the fitness world. I was obsessed with training, and I was just a million miles away from it.
Mm.
I was miserable, right? And I was like, I know I need to kind of get there, but I don't know how I'm going to do it. I'm in a complete different industry. You know, I used to be sat 300 miles offshore in Saudi. Like, how the fuck have I got here? Like, what am
Yeah,
I doing here?
yeah,
Um, and man, like I remember I just said one day I completely quit. I went and applied at loads of different gyms at 24. Everyone said no, I had no experience.
yeah,
And I ended up getting accepted into David Lloyd's,
yeah,
David Lloyd, Acton Park, and near Chiswick.
yeah, yeah.
Uh, that was so imagine I've gone from earning big money, well respected,
To 20K.
amongst all my
Yeah,
friends,
to
to
20K.
like
Yeah,
£6.50 an hour doing
yeah,
doing underhand PT for 15 quid an hour.
yeah.
David Lloyd's Acton Park. So that was humbling, but that was the start, man. And I love it.
Amazing, man.
That
Sick.
was
No,
the
it's
start.
quite funny. Like our upbringing with fitness is quite similar. I remember because obviously then you went to UP and that's how you kind of got here. So I started off at a pure gym. I actually did all right. I did all right at pure gym. I opened up a pure gym. I was there for like 2.5 years.
I opened up David Lloyd's as well.
Yeah, 2.5 years. And then I moved to London. Good experience. London sucked my soul. Applied to UP and got denied.
Really?
Yeah, that was. I remember I was crying, mate. I
Yeah,
remember tearing up in like it was the Mayfair one. I remember tearing up in the
I
park
was.
because I didn't get the
By
job.
far. Mate, it's a
Um,
tough gig. Tough gig.
I'm glad I didn't now, if I'm honest. I'm really glad I didn't.
Yeah, yeah.
But no, it's absolutely nuts, man. And then what kind of brought obviously then how long were you at David Lloyd for?
So I was there. This is what I mean when I say like everything, like when if you I don't want to sound too like spiritual, but if you like truly know where you want to go, like things will just get out of your way and it will just start to happen. Like I remember I was sat at reception at David Lloyd's, had about 4 clients. What am I doing? I was scrolling through Instagram and I just saw a paid ad pop up. And it was like random. It was Ultimate Performance hiring a junior in Kensington.
Yeah,
I was like, Googled Ultimate Performance. It was like the world's leading personal trainers and all this stuff. And I was like, oh, yeah, fuck it, whatever. And I applied. It said you need 5,000 one-to-one hours of PT,
yeah,
which is like 2 years of like 40 hours a week, whatever. It's a lot. And I was like, right, I have nothing. Um, I went for the interview. There was like 30 of us, read all the books. I was so switched on with training because all I'd done is read about it for years. And I just blitzed the exams, knew how to train people, knew how to train hard. My execution, my training was decent,
yeah.
good enough. And then I didn't understand like moment arms and all that stuff. They grilled me and all that stuff, but like
Still don't know to this day. It's fine.
still not there. But you know, yeah. And then I ended up getting that job in Mayfair, and I was there for 2 years. And
Yeah,
that's what really made me learn about training properly, training hard, client care,
yeah,
how to actually, they're very big on, you speak to your clients every day,
yeah,
you check in with them every night, you know, you're there for them all the time, you turn up 10 minutes early, you
yeah,
have to look a certain way, you put on a performance when they walk into the gym. And I've kind of took that away with me, you know,
yeah.
taught me how to deal with
They do
clients.
teach you kind of like I always think so. I quite like Mark Coles for that as well. It teaches you to be a 5-star, 6-star brand. And that means make sure you have a fresh haircut, make sure you look sharp, presentable, make sure you are in shape in sort of no matter what, if you're off season prep, that you are
Always,
always in good condition, that
they
you
say you
look
should always be
up,
four weeks. You should always be 4 weeks away from a shoot, whether you're in a gaining phase. That they want you on at all times.
yeah,
You know, the way you dress, the way you stand, hands behind your back, no phones.
yeah,
So I've always it was like kind of being in the army or
yeah,
like for PTing, and you kind of after 2 years there, I was a good trainer. I really backed myself as a one-to-one trainer,
and
and then
then
obviously learned about getting transformations, right, which carried over perfectly into what we do now.
yeah, exactly. And then you transferred. The opportunity came up that you transferred to Dubai.
Yeah, so COVID obviously happened. I was doing 35 one-to-one virtual sessions a week
Yeah,
in my spare room, in my mum's spare room.
yeah, yeah,
Miserable. And then I found out I could move to Dubai. It was Australia or Singapore or Dubai. Obviously, couldn't go to Australia. Never even been to Dubai. Never even heard about it. I remember I was on YouTube and I watched a Mike Thurston YouTube video being like,
Yeah.
why I moved to Dubai. I watched the video and I was just like, right, that's it. I'm going there. That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
And I'd broken up with my girlfriend at the time and I was like, fuck it. This is it. This is the time. Let's just reinvent myself and go. Called my manager. I asked and he was like, yeah, if you know, give me another year of hard work. And I was like, no, I can't do that. So I called his boss.
Yeah.
And I was like, listen, I want it. And he said to me, right, if you really want this to happen, I'll make it happen. And he was like, I said to him, when do you want me to go then? And he said, yesterday. And I was like, fuck. So this was like mid-November, nearly 3 years ago now. And that was it. They gave me 2 weeks. Just packed up my stuff and just went. See
Yeah,
you later.
we must have got here very similar times because I came in
December 30th,
I
two and
was
a half ago, just
yeah,
before
man, we
New.
literally got here literally the same fucking month.
I remember you coming because Leanne messaged me saying I've got a friend Brandon who's just moved out to Dubai.
That's it, yeah, because you both were at UP.
Yeah, we both were there together.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, she's back out here in August. Yeah,
she smashed it. She left at the right time. I should have. She is the reason I went into online as well, which we'll get to in a bit.
nice, man.
When I went to Ultimate Performance here, it was not the same. It was terrible. Didn't click with any of the guys. Just
Yeah,
had a good with my clients. There were so many coaches around doing really well, and I was stuck in a gym. I just transferred my London life to Dubai.
yeah,
I was from 6 a.m. till 8 p.m. Come home, prep my meals, shower, sleep, back to work. It's horrible. But I met Leanne for dinner. You were meant to come, and you couldn't come.
oh,
We
that's when we first got here. Yeah,
met for dinner, and she was telling me about her business, and I was just sat there, and she was like, why aren't you online? Because at the time I'd left Ultimate Performance, and I was doing about 40 one-to-ones a week
yeah,
here in Dubai privately. It's good money, it's a good life.
yeah,
And I wasn't miserable. I was very happy doing it. But there's levels to it. You want to push things online, you want to have a bit more flexibility of your time.
of course, yeah. You
She
get to
said,
that point with one-to-one where you're like, I've done my time. Like,
I literally have done my time. 2.5 years of pure graft.
yeah,
And then when I spoke to her, we had a good chat, and she kind of gave me a little bit of confidence. She was like, "Just go for it, just try." And that's when I hired Mark Coles and just went for it.
nice, sick, man,
So
decent,
Mark
and then
was
the rest is history.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And
But
now
I
we're doing
guess,
it. Okay.
and
Way
then
more to go though.
yeah,
Nowhere near.
it's crazy though, isn't it? I always think that as well. Sometimes we live in this being here as well is always like everyone's 5% better every day. Like literally, like their rate of progression sort of thing.
Crazy, yeah.
Physique, everything like that. But sometimes we need to take a step back and be like, holy shit, like look what we've achieved in 2 years. Imagine if we just kept doing that every 2 years.
Yeah.
It'd be absolutely petrifying of like where
I
it would be.
I have a video of when I left Ultimate Performance. I had my goal board and I
Yeah.
like screen recorded myself going over. I'll show you when I see going
Yeah.
over my goals. And one of them was like, get off the gym floor and go online. And one of them was like, get 10 clients. And I spoke about the goals on camera. I've got a 20-minute video on my phone. And I remember looking at the 10 clients one and being like, if I can do this, I swear I can do anything.
Yeah.
And it's like you forget, don't you? And then like obviously being
Sometimes,
here.
yeah, but so, do you know what's great? Sometimes we need to hold on to that as well. Do you know what I mean?
Mm,
It's like the goal a year ago, 2 years ago was to have this, and you're like, if you said to like younger you 2 years ago, you'll have this in the next 2 years, you'd be like, nah, surely not.
blown
And then
away.
you're like, oh, I've got it. And like you're not sometimes we're not grateful for it and we're not in the moment with it.
I'm 100% like that. Like if I think about where I am now, that the place I live in, the business I have, even with my physique,
Yeah.
that's one maybe a positive and a negative with the buys. You
Oh,
can compare yourself, and like I'm surrounded by coaches who are flying. I'm surrounded by bodybuilders, and you can always kind of compare yourself. But we have to remember, even 1 year ago, I've made great progress, and that's it. That's all that matters. Should be happy, and then just try and keep pushing forward. But I feel like you can get sucked into that world here where you never have enough. you're never big enough, you're never lean enough, your business is never big enough, your reach, your Instagram. So I try and kind of, it's important to take yourself away from that a little bit as well.
I think that's probably like this. I think this is the thing that I've seen about you because I've done it as well, is that you start to eliminate a lot of the noise. You
Mm.
eliminate a lot of the
Down the
noise.
path, yeah,
It takes time, and
for
you
sure.
just kind of go in this direction. You're like, this is me, this is who I fucking am, and I'm going in this direction.
Mm.
That's all it comes down to. And it,
Yeah, that was the prep, as well, like spending a bit more
yeah,
time on my own, a bit more time with my thoughts, morning cardio, really thinking like, what do I want to do? Who do then you start eliminating certain people in your groups, and then your circle gets smaller, but then you get a little bit more clarity. And that's kind of where I'm at now.
yeah, and you can
You've
tell
always been
that.
good at, you've always been super locked in and focused and consistent. And not like kept yourself to yourself, but you can always see with you. I feel like you're always, maybe you're not, but it seems like you're always
Yeah,
focused and always on it.
100%. It's that's the thing as well. It seems like it, but I like again. It's like I'll always sit and be like, the Dubai's been amazing because I've learned so much more about myself as a man, as a partner, as a friend, as a like a son, all this sort of stuff. I've learned more about myself that over the last 2 years than I think I have. I've learned business stuff, I've learned training shit, but I think learning myself has been the biggest thing that's unlocked my training, my business to go to that next
Yeah.
level. And
And
it's
you
like,
start to believe in yourself, don't you? And I feel like I came here with not much self-belief and not much confidence, really.
oh mate, I came here with nothing. You think you do,
Even
and you
though I
come here, and
portrayed like I did,
yeah,
really,
yeah,
I was fucking petrified.
yeah. That's the thing as well, and I think that's the nice thing again. Like, yeah, I'm pretty locked in, but locked in doesn't mean you don't have those, like you say, you doesn't mean you don't believe in yourself and things like that. It doesn't mean you feel confident. It doesn't mean that there's noise in your life and things like that. You can still be locked in, but it's when you really start to like really fucking dial in and those epiphany moments hit you. That's when it's like, oh shit, like this is what it feels like. Again, like when you really train and you really push till failure, or you train with someone that takes you to that next level, you're like, fuck, that's how you train.
That's how it's done.
Yeah, like again, like you know what it's like from prep and you things like there's being lean and there's being fucking peeled.
Yeah.
There's a big difference. And it
I
only
know.
takes another 6 weeks or another 8 weeks, but that mindset shift is petrifying.
Yeah, that was a brutal switch going from lean to stage lean, and I still didn't get peeled. I wasn't peeled, man. I was I was pretty lean, but there was more levels to unlock. That's next time.
Yeah, 100%. Also, as well, I think there's a difference, isn't there? Right, like men's physique now. I'm obviously we know now that it's going to be weight capped, it's going to have all this sort of stuff now, which is I do personally think it's the best thing for the class. um
What is the deal with the weight cap? How have they explained how it's going to work yet?
we don't know yet. No, I don't think so. I think
Like,
they're I think
hydration, something to do with hydration. You're gonna have to weigh in at a certain weight.
it'll be exactly the same as classic. There'll be no different, I guess, with but they're going to obviously the smart idea would be to cap it lower than classic. So
Yeah,
me and you're 5'11", you're the same height, right? So yeah, so like yeah, so like I think my weight cap's like 92, 93 kilos. So it makes sense for them to make the physique cap at like 90, 89 sort of thing. So I think
mm.
it needs to be capped lower than physique for classic for sure. Um, because that they're looking for that look again. They're not looking like at the moment we're looking at fucking bodybuilders in
Yeah,
short.
yeah.
So like some of these guys are like fucking 110 peeled on stage. You're like,
I think it was 104 or 105, and he just destroyed me. And he was massive.
yeah, do
He
you know
was
what
a
I mean?
set time.
Yeah, that's the thing. Do you know what I mean? So like, so then, but then also like with these guys, they'll if they just train their legs for 6 months, they'd probably be fucking great classic guys because they've got that classic potentially look to them. They've got that
Mm.
small waist, they've got that taper. So who knows? But I assume that's what it's going to go down to. Yeah. So, but that's the thing. Like you were saying, like you don't need to be shredded for men's physique in a sense.
Yeah,
Like you don't need your glutes in, you don't need your quads in, so you can have those things like squidgier. Who cares?
that was the look I had. I was a little softer in the legs, but I was peeled through the front and through the back. When I look at the photos, I didn't look out of shape. I looked, yeah, I was there.
Yeah, and
You
like,
know, you always think you can do a bit more.
oh mate, when you're shredded, you're like, I'm still fat.
Yeah. I remember saying to my coach, Hayden, we were in Spain, and he was like, "What's that doing?" I was like, "I feel like I look 4 weeks out." And he just looked at me. He was like, "How dare you insult me?" He said, "Do you think I'm having you here 4 weeks out?" He was like, "If you say that again, I'm going to slap you." And I was like, "Sorry, sorry."
But that's the thing as well. You go back, like sometimes when you're backstage, you look around, you're like, "Oh my fucking god, he's a mutant!" Like, and there's popping out his eyes.
I did backstage. I said, "Look," and he went, "You know what?" He grabbed me. He was walking around going, 4 weeks out, 3 weeks out, 6 weeks out, just pointing at people. And I was like, "Mate, you're wrecking people. You can't do that to people." And he was like, "You're in shape." It's fucking great. Good
Yeah,
coach.
I can confirm you were in shape. It's fine.
Yeah, I was. Now looking back, yeah.
That's the thing. Is I do it now. I think I've got a post for it tomorrow. I looked like it was show day, and then I did like show day comparison to my last check-in. I was like, oh fuck, that's
Yeah,
that's disgusting.
that's where the techniques come from.
But no, amazing, man. I guess like we kind of dive into like a little bit of like, I guess the biggest thing, like obviously the prep really opened up my eyes to you, and I think it did. I think throughout that kind of prep and stuff like that, what are the couple of things that you truly took away from it in that sense?
I think being more open as well. Like a lot of the time, I'm an open book as all my friends know everything about me, but sometimes like, I wouldn't put it on Instagram or anything like that. And then like when I was doing the prep, because I was a bit more confident, I wanted to let people know what's going on. I was speaking a lot more on camera.
Yeah,
So and then even though you just sat there with your phone, suddenly people are suddenly on board with your journey. People are starting to know who you are. People are starting to see kind of your character, and that's when I started to have a lot more people message me. And that's when I thought, hold on, like that's when I moved into YouTube. I was like, I feel quite comfortable on camera now. That
yeah,
was always a massive thing for me. I couldn't do YouTube. I couldn't be on camera. I had this big personality, and then you put the camera on, and I just crumble.
yeah,
So some of the biggest like takeaways I took home is, the more you do something, the better you get. Like as I got deeper into this competition, I was loving it, whipping out my phone. I was walking around Alicante. Right, you should have seen me. I was like walking around Alicante, like talking to this. I did fucking don't know what this is. I whipped that on. Everyone's staring at me, and I just didn't care.
yeah,
So it gave me confidence. It was like there's that Alex Hormozy quote. It's like you don't build confidence by saying affirmations in the mirror. You build it by having an undeniable stack of proof that you are who you say you are.
yeah. It's very
When
true.
I'm walking around shredded, just competing, my first show came fourth. All my clients or the ones that care are doing well. My business is doing okay. It's like I am it. I am the person that I'm trying to be. I
Yeah,
actually am proving it, and that gave me confidence. So almost like walking the walk gave me a bit more self belief, and I've still kind of got that now. And I just learned as well that I can really push myself if I have a goal that means enough to me. And it made me realize that I had to set as soon as we finished, I had to set some more.
yeah,
My girlfriend who she works in law, so she's very corporate her job. She was saying to me, I can't wait to have the old Max back. And I
yeah,
was like, you're not getting, no way.
yeah,
Do you think I'm going to be going to brunches and getting pissed on Saturdays and all the time and eating shit food all the time? You're not getting the old me back. I like being disciplined. I like feeling like this.
yeah. Did
Yeah, I
you?
learned.
Because obviously, like, she was with you the whole prep. How did you say that to her? Like, there's not going to be that. Like,
Yeah, she
this kid.
knows.
Yeah,
We sat down for dinner a couple of days ago and she was like, right, are you going to compete again? And I was like, because I think she found it quite difficult towards the end because
100%. Of
you're not there 100%. And that
course.
one of the hardest things for me was trying to be like present for my girlfriend. Like I'd wake up in the morning, stupid early check-ins, work, train, cardio, you know, you get back at like 7 o'clock in the evening, you just want to sit there
Yeah.
and just eat your last meal, just go to bed. And then she'd kind of finish work, and it's like, right, I need to be on the ball. Should we go for a walk? And I really struggled with it towards the end. So yeah, she was there the whole way through. Obviously, the last week I flew on my own.
Yeah.
I needed that. I'll be doing that again.
Yeah.
A week just with my coach, with a couple of the guys that were competing. It was just like fully amongst it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that tough because it's a selfish sport, as you know.
It is, man. It's very selfish and like, but do you know what though? We always say bodybuilders are selfish sport, and promise you, every fucking sport's selfish.
Yeah,
Any
you want to be doing
individual
it, right?
team sport is, yeah, it does. And this is something that I've learned massively over the last year, 6 months, whatever that is that it's just about communication. It is like whether that's with your coach, your clients, things like that. Your partner is the biggest one, being like, I'm struggling here and this is kind of how it's going to be and things like that. I do plan on doing this. And are you happy for me to do this? And if it's a
Yeah,
yes or no, you can be like, right, this, if it's a no, then be like, well, this is what my future looks like.
that's
It's
literally what I said.
yeah, it is. And that's the best. And if they say
Sat
yes,
down for
then you're like,
dinner.
great, we're on the same wavelength.
We sat down for dinner. And I said, look, the truth is, this is going to be me for the next probably 4 or 5 years. I love bodybuilding. I love training. I love all of the stuff that comes with it that some people might not like. This is kind of the route I'm going down. I don't want to lie to you, but you know, I will be competing again.
Mm,
And that's what we kind of agreed on, maybe like a November.
yeah.
You know, so 2 off seasons, and obviously, as you know, life's a bit more simple when you're in an off season to a degree.
Yeah.
Like you can live a normal life, but yeah, I think it's tough. It's tough. We'll cross that bridge when we get to it. I think she's going to hate it when I go back in. But
But again, your relationship will be another a year and a half stronger. It's a
fine,
different
yeah,
ball game. It's a different ball game. So, but that's it. Like at the end of the day, and I think again, like honestly, the more preps you do and the more you learn about yourself over the next year and a half, the more that
I think.
you just keep learning and getting better. Every prep will be a little bit smoother, a little bit. You're more aware of your reactions, your emotions, and
Yeah,
things.
and that for me as well. Like that last 6 weeks was uncharted territory for me.
Yeah,
I've never been that lean. I've never had food that low. I've never had cardio that high. My business was as busy as it's ever been. It was like fucking go, go, go. And I was at times at almost at like breaking point. But again, it's good to kind of go through that because it gives you perspective with clients as well who are going, because a lot of our clients don't just get lean. Some of these guys get fucking, you know, doing shoots. Some of them get very, very lean. So
yeah.
you're going to have those similar feelings as well. But I remember I broke about a week before I left. I was just starving. I was sitting there like, oh, this is so shit. Why am I even doing this? And I remember she ordered a poke bowl, and it was like the ultimate poke bowl with like salmon, avocado, and I could smell it with sweet potato fries.
Yeah.
And I just egg whites, and I was just sat there, and then we were sitting there, she was just going through it. And I was like,
Yeah.
sorry, I can't be here right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Walk. She's like, I can't eat in my own house. And all this shit. And that was like the one time I remember just strolling around the marina, like, fuck, no, I'm starving. Yeah,
Amazing. That's the nice thing, man, is that like you'll be able to laugh about this in the next prep. Can you remember when I couldn't sit next to you here and have a meal and things like that and all this sort
yeah,
of stuff? It's just, it's such a, honestly, like I'll always say it to this day that bodybuilding, fitness, whatever that is, it's given me my life. It's saved my life. It's done everything. And we
yeah,
have a very similar upbringing. Like my family were very sporty and things like that. I went into a professional sport, turned a professional athlete very early on in my life. Um, I learned so much from that, but also I didn't learn school life at all. But again, like fitness and sport has given me everything, literally everything. And bodybuilding to that level has just taught me so much, so much. Like fucking training nutrition, man. Honestly, that shit's generally easy. Like everyone in the world knows what to eat. There's YouTube videos on it. So I'm just like, eat it, track how much you actually need. That's kind
yeah,
of it. It gets a bit more in depth, yes, of course. But the moral of the story is that if you want a great chest, do a fly. If you want great legs, do a hamstring curl. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the stuff that bodybuilding teaches you is the repetitiveness, the boringness. If I know if I keep doing this every day, the next year, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, it'll reach that end outcome. It teaches you that short-term gratification isn't real.
Yeah, and it carries over into other areas. If you want to go into business, you've learned discipline, perseverance, being consistent over time, working hard. You know, it carries over into everything. So a lot of great bodybuilders end up having good businesses or end up having good brands because they tend to be very hardworking. They tend to be consistent. They tend to never quit.
Yeah.
And that's what it's given me as well. Like the life I've got now, I'm super blessed and grateful for. But it all comes from training and kind of what that's taught me.
Yeah,
Just
it does. It does. And I think obviously you guys, like anyone that listens to this as well, like me and Max are obviously very grateful as well, but it doesn't mean that this is like the whole picture every day. Like there's days that like it's like at the end of the day, you're running your own business, you're trying to build your physique, your own physical career, your own personal fulfillment from bodybuilding, from getting back on stage, which is a full-time job. Then you're running a business, then you have to be customer service and all this sort of stuff. Like people don't understand actually what goes on behind the scenes. And
I'm
it's
not sure about you, but I've never felt so much pressure than now.
mm,
Like me, nothing's gotten easier. Like just my friends at home from the outside, they say, "Oh, you're in Dubai, you got clients, you live in this great life." It's like I've never felt so much pressure to train hard and improve my physique. I've never felt further behind with my business. I've never felt like my marketing was worse. It's non-stop. I never wake up and just think I fucking made it. I'm just
yeah, we'll just stay in bed another hour. Yeah.
even even now, like I'm obsessed. Even when I had a staycation just now for a day, I was like, I promised I wouldn't take my laptop.
Yeah, that's hard, man.
I'm lying in bed, stressed, like
Yeah.
stressed. And I waited for my girlfriend to fall asleep so I could quickly just get back to my clients. That's not healthy. But that's kind of the way I feel like, you have to be a little bit obsessed with it.
You do. I do agree. Like
maybe that's too much, but
no, man, but the thing is, it's true. Like we've all been there, like, and we still are at times. There is this thing, like, in my opinion, like I would always, don't get me wrong, me and you have done it in a sense. We've done the face to face. We've done that for years. So there is a point where we do deserve a little bit of balance in a sense. But I am very much, I've kind of approached this kind of off season very much the same. Like I have prep habits that I do, but the truth is, like, probably till the day I die, I won't believe in balance until I've achieved what I want to achieve. And I'm all for having balance, like 100%. Like I have certain rules in the day. 7:30 p.m. now, I'm being strict with that. That is my time onwards.
do you not think that you'll never achieve it
No,
because you'll always moving?
yeah, I'm gonna die with goals, man. I don't know about you. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. I'll be fulfilled.
Way to go. It's a good
Yeah,
way to go.
yes, and it's like when people talk about retirement, I'm like, I can't imagine. Like, I took an extra rest day today, and I was like, I had like a spare hour, and I was like, fuck, what'd you
Yeah,
do? What'd you do with this
I'm like
hour?
that
Fuck.
as well.
And then I started getting a bit anxious because I'm like, should be doing something because I'm not where I need to be. But you're like, no, just sit for an hour.
Like
So,
what I'll do if I have an hour, I'll be like, right, I'll just go on my notes onto my to-do list. I'll just like, add a couple of things that I should be doing, and I've got a fucking to-do list like that. And some of them are going to take me. Like I'm writing. We spoke briefly. I'm writing 3 ebooks at the moment.
yeah,
It's like I'm just focus on one.
yeah,
So it's
just
like any spare time I have it's constant. But I feel like you have to be like that, otherwise you just get left behind.
you do. And also, it's sometimes it's, I always like saying, like, pressure is a privilege in a sense. And I've had those moments where I feel comfortable, and then I'm like, had a week of comfort, and then I'm like, oh fuck, I shouldn't be comfortable. I
Yeah,
need to be uncomfortable. And I think it, like, I do believe in the whole balance thing. I do, because I do try and do that. And obviously, again, like when you're in a relationship, vice versa, like with Steph and things like that, like I always want to make sure that we do spend quality time together. But it is hard, man. It is hard. Like she does exactly the same job, and she'll have a busier day than I will. Again, she's on prep, so it's that mindset as well. It is hard,
tough.
it's just being like, right, we have a Saturday night, whatever that is, and we take Sunday as a day for us just to kind of detach. Take half a day, Thursday afternoon sort of thing, Thursday early evening switch offs. Because like you, we love what we do. So do we need loads of time off and do we need a holiday? No, but we do just need those little time periods to pull back.
Yeah, but it's important. And I've had that with my partner as well. We spoke about we're going to Thailand in 6 weeks for 3 weeks.
Yeah, perfect.
So, but in my head, I'm like, right, I can get fucking locked in for 6 weeks and get ahead of everything. And
yeah,
even when we're there as well, like I'm not going to take any time off. You know, I'm still going to obviously work when I'm there, but it's only a few hours a day.
yeah,
He's saying to me, why don't you message your clients and just say you're going to be offline for a week? I'm like, it doesn't work like that. You can't take if someone's doing a 12, you can't take a week off.
yeah.
So
But I do know, do you know what's really nice is that I think sometimes that having her probably not in fitness is very good as well sometimes. That
different perspective. Yeah,
it will help.
I'm into that 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll definitely help you because realistically, like 5 days, 6 days off, like if you say to clients, everyone client would be like, yeah, no worries, man.
They'll be off anyway.
No one gives a fuck.
Anyway.
It's the standard you set on yourself. That's the difference. Yeah. So I think actually, I think coming off this episode, I'm like, yeah, definitely take 5 to 7 days. Definitely, that's my commitment to you. Challenge.
We've got a 3-week trip, and the first week she's completely off.
Nice.
Maybe I'll have to put some boundaries in place, but even just talking about it makes me feel a bit sick.
But sometimes as well, I'm like, she fucking deserves it as well. She's gone through that prep, so like, I know that you're very good, but it's sometimes being like, holy shit, like this girl put up with me in prep and things like that. I'm like, she deserves 5 days.
Yeah, maybe you're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'll probably do that.
Yeah. But no, but honestly, like we're sat here, we'll say this, it's easier said than done. It's easier said than done for sure.
Knows that. She understands. She sees me. She hears me. She knows kind of what she saw me when I was on my ass working at UP, stressed, down, broke. So she's seen it all. We've been on and off for nearly 6 years, so she knows.
Yeah, amazing, man. Yeah, that's phenomenal. And when someone can be in your life that long and they're meant to be, they are meant to be. That's it. Yeah, it's amazing, man. So sick. So I guess kind of for me, what's the mission looking like? What's the future looking like for Max? Obviously, we got 6 weeks locked in, just training, work, which is nice because it forces you to be like, right, this is the focus for the next 6 weeks. Yeah. Then you got a nice little break.
Get these ebooks locked in. The next 6 weeks, just going to really knuckle down. A little bit of time off in Thailand. Off season starts. Nice. Probably day I get back.
Yeah,
I've got mapped out. It'll be probably 4 to 5 months. I'll have 6 weeks off where I'll probably go to spend a little bit of time in Bali again with her. Nice. And then come back. I'll have 4 months again, pushing it. Come back, take July and half of August off again to obviously good time of the year, to it's summer, go see her family and things like that. And then probably start prep maybe end of August, looking to compete around November. Trying to get a couple of guys who are going to be competing together. JJ, my flatmate.
Yeah. Me.
A couple of other ones. That's it, November.
Yeah. Our thing works out kind of the same.
Yeah. I want to get a group of us together and then we can maybe all travel together.
That'd be cool.
Make the experience a lot better. I did this fully on my own. I was fully on my own.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
So that's, again, you can't rely on anyone, but that's what I'll be doing.
Yeah. That's all you need to do. Just do you.
Building the business, keeping it going, pushing, giving free value, helping people. You know, I was talking to you off camera about kind of improving my service and little things I need to do. So I kind of have my eyes opened to kind of how much I'm slacking in that department. I feel like so that's my big focus over the next six weeks. But just the more value I can give, the more people I can help. The more you give, the more you're going to get eventually down the line. Yeah. So I need, you know, it's never ending. I've always got it. Like I said, I'm more stressed now than I was before I even started.
Yeah.
I've got so much to do, but I love it.
Yeah, it's good, man. That's it. I'm very much like it's just enjoy the ride. It's enjoy the ride. Be in the present, enjoy the ride. Make sure you like take time, take a couple of hours in the evening just to unwind with the missus, chill, things like that. It's very important to do. So it's cool. But no, man, I kind of next year and a half is pretty much identical. My breaks are pretty much the same as yours. I'll probably break when we go to Australia. Just chill out for that time period. Australia and a bit of the US and stuff like that.
Nice.
And
I want to do this as well.
yeah, so yeah, Steph's got her shows in the US, so chill out a little bit whilst probably not in Australia, probably actually push a little bit and then chill off probably the back end of the Australia trip and then chill out in the US and things like that. And then yeah, so have probably be the Christmas break really. A little bit of Christmas chill. Then drop back into it again. Probably have like again, probably a push, little break, and then push into a prep sort of thing, something like that. Yeah. But it's good, yeah. Yeah, super easy, yeah.
I think that's one thing I've learned as well as with Marie, my girlfriend, like she's super focused and driven as a lawyer. And I've kind of learned that it's good to have sprints and then little time to take breaks. Sprint. I'm trying to be on at all times, but she's kind of taught me that give, and then pull back, and you end up being able to then go into another sprint. So I've kind of learned that as well along the way.
It's a really good lesson, man, because I've generally, that's kind of how I like things as well. It's like, say for example, the summer here, like what the fuck do we have to do sort of thing. It's pretty hard. It's things like that. Like, yep, catch up with people, but otherwise it's just cool. Like you said, you got the next 6 weeks. I'm thinking like the next 8 to 10 weeks sort of thing. Just push, then pull back a little bit, push, pull back, and things like that. And it makes it a little bit more like, it's kind of like you're a bit more focused because you're like, if you said, right, bro, we're just going to grow for the next year and a half, you're like, fucking hell. And also we have other things to consider as well. Like we've obviously got cycles to consider for our health side of things. So there's only so much we can do. If we get bloods back, is that a position to be like, right now we have to think about scaling back, pushing forward again. And obviously we need to look after our mental health along the long way of that as well.
Then having a girlfriend who's completely out of the industry.
Yeah.
I'm saying to me, God, like you've done all this stuff, now you can just relax. And it's like having to be like, well, actually, it's going to be like 8 weeks of relaxing. And then the minute I get my bloods back, I'm gone again. So I need to, yeah.
Yeah, as soon as my bloods come back, I'm all in. Let's go.
When you get them done, I've already had them done last week.
Oh, wait. Oh, man.
What was that?
It's like a fire alarm.
Fire alarm. I can't hear it.
You can't hear that?
No.
Holy shit. That's insane. We have like a random fire alarm that goes off and it's so loud, man.
I couldn't hear it. No one else will hear that.
Yeah, that's it. I just look stupid just doing this now.
I thought I said something wrong. I was like, what's he doing? What did I say?
Good. No, absolutely amazing, man. Obviously, I don't want to take loads of your time. We could sit and chat for hours, man. But a tradition on this little podcast is the 1%. So obviously, being the 1% podcast, what is that one tip, that one piece of advice that you could give someone that's going to take them one step further forward to tomorrow?
I don't want to sound cliche, but believe in yourself, because if you don't believe in yourself, you have to believe in yourself first before anybody else will. Was that cliche? I just threw that one at you.
No, it's good. It's good. It's like, it's...
If you don't believe in yourself, who will?
Yeah, exactly. It's an easy, I think loads of people say it. Loads of people like believe in yourself. And me and you are probably prime examples of this, where we thought we believed in ourselves for a very long time. And you're like, you're masking it. And then all of a sudden you're like, fuck, now I do. This is what it really feels like. So it's just sometimes I think it's a time game. I really do. I think you have to go through periods, but when you have that moment, you're like, oh, fuck, that's what believing yourself feels like. And then you just run with it. That's it. Like you say, like it's your fault, your responsibility.
Always take responsibility for everything that happens to you as well.
Yeah.
All the good and the bad.
100%, man. No, I love it, man. I love it. Where can people find you so they can stalk you and all this sort of stuff? What's the best way to get hold of you?
So my Instagram is Maxi No Muscle. Even though everyone calls me Maxi No Muscle, it was meant to be Maxi No Muscle. Because remember back in the day, Maxi Muscle, the brand.
Yeah.
I used to they had a shake called the Cyclone Shake.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
I used to slam cyclones all day long. And like all my friends would call me Maxi No Muscle because I was so skinny. slamming these shakes, and it kind of my name stuck. But everyone calls me Maxino. But yeah, it's Maxino Muscle. Same with my YouTube. I'll be posting once a week on there, and then my coaching is the links in my bio.
Amazing, man. Sick. I do need to get the YouTube kind of. I always did. I was like, I promised, and I was
Terrible.
like,
It's terrible. Give me 6 months. It is.
It's so hard, man. To like, I say it's so hard.
So hard.
It's been like, the thing is, I don't want to talk about topics. I'm not very good to be like, right, let's sit down and talk about vitamin D. I'm like, so I like the vloggy kind of stuff, but you're like, how much can you actually vlog? Do you know what I mean? Sometimes I'm like, I do the same shit every day, but some people like that. So
yeah. I've noticed that it is tough, and like sometimes you'll be filming all day, like vlogging all day, and then like you get to the end of the day, I was like, that's just pointless what I've been doing.
but that's also, again, this is our portrayal on things. This is what we think is pointless. So some people as well, like my Instagram stories are the fucking same coffee shop images and check-in shit. I'm like, that is the day. Like, but some people like that. Some people generally like it, and then you post up what you eat. You're like, oh, it's amazing.
You might have, a 20-year-old trainer who's struggling, watching your stuff, being like, "Oh, he's doing what I want to do."
Yeah.
So we all remember that. Like, you don't know who's watching these things, but the more you put out there, the better. So I need to just stay consistent with it. That's a big target of mine.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
know that consistency all works. No, amazing, man. No, honestly, thank you so much for your time. I will drop all your links, everything in the description, bio thing, whatever's behind these things. But guys, honestly, like, definitely give Max a follow. It's a privilege to kind of watch him grow and things like that. It's insane. And he's posting some good shit as well, so you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, the next year is going to be good.
Be fucking killer. Fucking killer. Amazing, man. Thank you for your time.
All right, cool.